Welcome to this week's episode of Into the Paranormal with Geist Paranormal. As you can see, today I'm here all alone. Terry and Stephanie had to work their regular jobs today, and I had some information I wanted to get out to you guys. First thing that I want to talk about is something that's just been driving me absolutely insane. I belong to several different pages and groups on Facebook, and love all the paranormal stuff that's put out. It's really, you can see some amazing things, and people are willing to share just about everything. The downside to this is that I don't believe that the admins are doing their job. Anybody can be a fan of one of those pages just by, most of them, you just got to answer a simple little questionnaire. That being said, I think that the admin could do a better job possibly weeding out some of these orbs and pareidolia pictures. Not everything is paranormal. You start getting into a situation where everything's paranormal and every single picture you take has a spirit in it because it's got an orb. Most of that stuff is dust. I'm going to put up a couple of things on the screen here that might interest you guys. Some actual camera shots of dust, bugs, and moisture being photographed with different light, so you can kind of see what we're talking about. Also, the pareidolia thing is something that, some of these pictures, there's absolutely nothing in it. Not even anything that your mind could make up. Why the admins aren't weeding that out and putting that on, I don't know, but it's really, 90% of what we do as paranormal investigators is to debunk things, to prove that it's not paranormal. I want it to all be paranormal, but part of the biggest thing that we do is proving that it's not. So it kind of gives people a false sense of what's actually paranormal as opposed to what's kind of just fictional. So the pareidolia thing, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like your mind playing tricks on you. If you look into the clouds and you see a dragon or whatever, it's your mind piecing together the clouds in a way that it gives you an image that you can relate to. A lot of times that happens with like smoke and pictures or flames over a fire. Now, I'm not saying that there could be no paranormal activity in there. I personally am a huge fan of light anomalies. Light anomaly is something that you would see with your own eyes. Could be captured maybe on camera, but also mentioned by someone else that was not looking through the viewfinder on a camera at the time. Things that have their own light, things that defy natural physics of a bug or dust. Those things I find interesting, and I think that some of those things are paranormal. But most of this stuff that's going on these pages is a far cry. It also, you even see some of this in some of the bigger network shows, where there is like a extreme, this place is so dark and we're possessed, and in every episode. We've been on hundreds of investigations in very dark places, and never once have I or any of my team felt like we were being taken over by some dark entity. I'm not saying that those things don't happen, but for those things to happen on a regular basis is just absurd. So it's frustrating being a paranormal investigator who wants to get factual things out for people to enjoy, and the downside of that is that it's not very exciting. A lot of times what we do as investigators is very boring, and 90% of it is probably boring or talking to yourself. But it's those few actual paranormal events that get captured on film or able to be documented. Once they're captured on film and documented, it's something that makes, the other 90% of the boring stuff worth it. Now, part of that, too, that ties into the orbs and pareidolia thing is to be able to decide what's actually paranormal and what's not and weed that out. And that's 90% of your job on the backside of reviewing evidence. So I just wanted to touch on those things because it's very frustrating sometimes watching the TV and having people that aren't actual investigators but are maybe interested in it, kind of getting a false sense from these shows and some of these pages on Facebook that these things are paranormal when they're clearly not. So it's a lot of hard work to catch a ghost, and it's not just every photograph that has an image of one in it. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about today is our Friday the 13th full moon episode. We're going to record that on location at a barn that's just outside of our hometown of Sterling, Illinois. I've been to this place a few times. It's always very active, kind of a cool story that goes behind it. Seems like there's a few different entities there that roam around or kind of stuck at this farm. And we're going to shoot next week's show on location there. So you guys will be able to tune in next week and enjoy that. Also, next weekend, the 21st and the 22nd, is when we're down at Haunted Haven in Rock Falls, Illinois. We're kind of doing like an MC thing. We're kind of warming up the guests and entertaining there a bit as a team. Going to tell some ghost stories and that type of thing. But they have got a super cool event going on over there. The original actor for Halloween, the original movie, 1978 film, starred a gentleman named Tony Moran as Michael Myers. Tony Moran's going to be at that event signing autographs on both of those days. Very, very cool event that they put together for their 10-year anniversary, and they're just killing it out there as far as a spook house goes. We've actually investigated the building, and there's some real activity there too, with a very interesting backstory. So that's something we're really looking forward to, and personally I can't wait to meet Michael Myers. So another thing, we've had several people asking for or about merch, t-shirts, hats, hoodies. I'm working diligently right now. Actually, this afternoon, after I finish up with this video, I'm going to hit the books. I got a couple of different companies that I think that we can work with that are going to fulfill all the needs. There's a lot of things involved with that. I mean, there's the manufacturing, there's the shipping, there's dealing with the payments, and getting all those funds to where they need to go from and to the right people. But I found a couple of companies that specialize in merchandise, and I think we're going to take off with one of those. So hopefully I should have a link for you guys soon to be able to log on and order shirts or whatever you want. Couple week leeway to have them shipped to your house, and we should be seeing you guys in some shirts. We're also getting super close to the 666th like on Facebook, which whatever person that is, as soon as that hits, and I'm watching that daily, we will be giving away a free Geist Jaeger shirt. So if you guys want to get involved in that little competition, tell your friends to like it or whatever, somebody can get a free shirt out of us. Some unfortunate news about the Roadhouse events. Last year we did a couple events that were extremely popular. Paranormal investigation, murder mystery dinner, and this year things have just been a bit busier for the Roadhouse. So we've decided to pull out and back off of our shows there a bit, just because it's a little bit of a congested schedule with them, and I'm sure that some of you guys have seen the ads for that come up, and it's a very interesting show, very informative. I don't believe that you do any ghost hunting, but I do think that the history part and everything's there, and something that you guys might be interested in checking out. But I did want to make people aware. I don't want anyone to be misinformed. That is not a Geist Jaeger Paranormal production, show, or event by any means. That's solely put on by the Roadhouse, and different from the shows that we used to do there. In light of all of that, also working very diligently on getting a bus trip together to go to an asylum of some type, or a prison, and getting a group of people out to be able to come and investigate with us a couple of times. Also a few more local things that would be a bit more quaint, where there's been some pretty profound paranormal activity documented, just in the local area where we're at, Sterling, Rock Falls, Dixon. So some opportunities coming up for those of you guys who have been asking to hunt with us, to get out and hunt with us. So basically, I guess I'll see you guys on Friday the 13th, a couple of days away. Should be a really good time, and we're going to follow that up with an investigation. So you guys should be able to kind of get a double header next week, and hopefully we can all find some cool stuff together. One thing that we are going to do is we have lighting now for Facebook Live. So before, our Facebook Lives were kind of, because the infrared lighting wasn't there, the Facebook Lives were a bit boring because you're staring into a black screen. But we want to encourage people to log in. We're probably going to go Facebook Live about 10 o'clock p.m. on Friday the 13th. And if you guys want to log in, we will. You guys can basically conduct the investigation for us. We'll give you a little background on the place when we first start the video. A couple of different areas that you can go where there's activity, and you can direct us to go to those areas and have us ask the questions or do the experiments that you'd like to see done. So it kind of gives you the opportunity to come on a ghost hunt with us from home. And trust me, this place is interesting. So anyways, been great talking with you guys. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of days.